she is proving that that article headline in the New York Times is about her and Ryan Reynolds because they can bury anyone, and that's what they're proving right now.
Oh, well, crying, they're coming for Blake, but you're the one causing the quake.
Hi, and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Tashti Flo, and here on my channel, I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood and working as an entertainment reporter. And as you know, a lot about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal feud. So today I was sent the trailer for a new documentary about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal drama. I'm in it just for a little short while. I was really reluctant to actually watch it because I was like, oh, another one of these one-sided documentaries. But I have to say, this one is the most balanced that I've seen so far. So they spent the first 25 minutes explaining everything from Justin Baldoni's point of view, just interviewing people that were on like his side here, supporting him or supporting the truth. And then the rest of the half of the documentary are people supporting Blake Lively. So it gives the audience a lot better chance, a much better chance to actually make up their mind about where they feel the truth lies. So this is going to be on Discovery Plus in the UK. Today is premiering. They told me that they don't know actually when it's going to air in the US and Australia, but it's going to be on HBO and Discovery Plus there as well. So yeah, if you just want to watch the first half, then you can do that. I did fast forward a little bit through that second half of it because I'm like, I can't watch these people sit there and protect someone like Blake Lively, especially now, because now, as you know, it's personal for me because they're going after all my personal data. That information is obviously not a part of this documentary because this happened so recently. But I think the plan for this is to actually make it into a series, and this is the first part. And there's probably other influencers and podcasters that you know that are also a part of this documentary. So anyways, before I get to any of the legal drama, which you won't believe, but guess what? Blake Lively has postponed her deposition. It was supposed to happen today. Oh my God. Brian Friedman was supposed to interview her the entire day today, and people flew in, her lawyers flew in to New York to be part of this, and she canceled it. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later and why she did that. And there's some other good news actually for truth supporters. I'm going to call people truth supporters instead of Baldoni supporters because this is a bigger picture now and it's all about truth. It's about freedom of speech and it's also about the freedom of the press. Anyway, that's the way I see things now that it's escalated so much. And I was reading some of the comments on these news stories about this, and Blake Lively has maybe 3 supporters left out there. So someone sent me these Reddit posts, and it looks like people actually have been mass reported on Reddit because they have been supporting Justin Baldoni or supporting the truth or whatever you prefer. So someone posted this where it says, I'm sorry to hijack your post, but I have no ability to message anyone here or make new posts because my account was not only targeted and mass reported, but this is the second time in 24 to 48 hours. Then that same person complained to Reddit about it, and he or she actually did get an answer saying that, thanks for submitting an appeal. We reviewed your request and gave the following a second look. After reviewing, the Reddit admin team found that the content wasn't in violation of Reddit's rules. As a result, the content has been restored and your ban or warning was lifted, blah, blah, blah. So this is stuff that keeps happening on Reddit right now, on subreddit, that people are mass reporting supporters of Justin Baldoni. So just be aware of that. And I'm so glad that this person actually sent a note to Reddit and that they actually took the time to look at it. In contrast to Google, who keeps sending these auto reply responses to all of us content creators who are still confused about our subpoenas. I've figured out a little bit on my own now as well, and it looks like very clearly that I am protected by EU laws here. I'm in a European country. I'm a European citizen. So Blake Lively's lawyers, if they subpoena me through the US Google system there, they're going to get in big trouble with EU laws. EU actually have one of the strongest privacy policies in the world. So they can't drag me into this and access my private data through a US subpoena. So this is for Blake Lively's lawyers. You can do that, but Google won't give you anything because they know if they give you my private information, my private data, they're going to have to answer to European data protection authorities. Because this is illegal in Europe and it should be illegal in the US as well. I'm sure they're going to try to do this anyways, though. I don't trust them for a second because now we know we caught them in lying. We have them on tape lying, saying, pretending that these subpoenas are just fake or scams. And the reason why they did that is because they wanted to delay the process so we wouldn't even have a chance to defend us. That's how Blake Lively's legal team is operating. Okay, so there is a little bit of good news here, though, because Jed Wallace, remember that guy in Texas, the one they accused of the smear campaign, that he was the one behind all the bots and the unorganic hate that Blake Lively was receiving online. There's a story in Deadline about it where it says that Judge Louis Lyman cited lack of jurisdiction in tossing Wallace and his company Street Relations from the case, noting that he's located in Texas and not New York, where her lawsuit was filed. So these are kind of technicality, and it was dismissed with prejudice, meaning that Blake Lively can amend it, or she can file it in Texas, I guess, in another court. So the judge did not dismiss this due to lack of evidence, which is important. Of course, they don't have any evidence, as you know. Why would they go after everyone, including me, if they had any evidence? Of course they don't. So this could seem like a win to Justin Baldoni or the Wayfair team here, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't celebrate too early because we know at this point, as I said before, this is not about justice anymore for Blake or to clear her name because it's way too late for that. She just wants revenge now. She just is willing to spend every single dollar she has to ruin other people because she feels terrible about herself. This all goes back to her personality or her narcissism, which is what this whole lawsuit is about. The fact that she cannot accept that people don't like her. I truly hope for Jed Wallace's sake that they won't amend this. But anyways, this dismissal was used by Blake Lively's legal team as an excuse for why she would not sit for deposition today. As you know, she was supposed to be deposed by Brian Friedman today. There's been so many filings back and forth in court because of this, because she said she didn't feel safe and she needed a protective order because she couldn't go to his office because she feels that it puts her privacy at risk. Does that sound familiar? But she wants to look at my bank account and my credit card and my home address. Maybe I should send you a location pin, Blake Lively. Anyways, so of course she used this as an excuse. I don't know how this is an excuse to not sit for deposition, but I think both parties agreed on this somehow. Her lawyers were already on the plane coming to New York. I just don't understand why it took 7 months for the judge to dismiss this. If this is like a technical issue, why didn't he see that right away and say, oh, you can't do this because, this is not our jurisdiction here in New York, so you can't do it. Why couldn't he say that 7 months ago? Now, the lawyers have spent hours and hours of filing back and forth about this. I just don't get it. And also with Blake's deposition, how many hours and how many filings have there been back and forth because she wanted a protective order and whatever? And she already pushed this deposition once. It was supposed to be in June. And then they were like, okay, it's on July 17th. I bet you Blake Lively will never sit down for a deposition. She is going to make excuse after excuse after excuse, while in the meantime, her and Ryan Reynolds are going to be busy trying to ruin other people's lives and ruin people financially because that's their goal here now. That's her only goal, is to just make other people miserable. So Blake Lively's attorneys did give a statement to People magazine about Jed Wallace, and they're saying that Ms. Lively respects the court's decision, which has nothing to do with the merits of her allegations about Mr. Wallace's role in her smear campaign, and relates solely to the procedural question of whether he is subject to jurisdiction in New York or elsewhere. I almost have a feeling the judge dismissed this because everyone's been accusing him of being so biased in this case that he's like, okay, I'm going to give something to Baldoni, although I'm not really giving it to him because it is without prejudice, so they can amend the case and just sue again. They're saying here, we're currently evaluating our numerous options for holding Mr. Wallace accountable for the pivotal role he served in the retaliatory effort that Justin Baldoni and the Wayfair parties paid him at least tens of thousands of dollars a month to perform. Tens of thousands of dollars. That's what they charge in one day, these lawyers who actually said this. Isn't that kind of ironic? Anyways, $10,000 a month is not a lot of money if they're trying to make it sound like that. But the fact is, they could never find any evidence on Jed Wallace either. If there was any evidence, we would have seen it by now. And just to put an end to these conspiracy theories that some of the pro Blake Lively content creators are spreading, one of them said on TikTok that Blake Lively's team have got evidence from Jed Wallace about the content creators that are now being subpoenaed, and that's coming from him, and that's why we were all subpoenaed. That is a big fat lie. That is a conspiracy theory that this person made up to get clicks on TikTok, or maybe someone paid her to say that. I don't know, but it's not true. And now these creators are attacking us in the name of protecting a powerful woman, a powerful celebrity who has so much money that she can just bury all of us. She can bury anyone. And that's what she's proving right now. She is proving that that article headline in the New York Times is about her and Ryan Reynolds because they can bury anyone. And that's what they're proving right now. Remember this quote from Seth Meyers when Blake Lively was on his show and she said, I see so many women, especially right now, afraid to speak, afraid to share their experiences, and fear is by design. It's what keeps us silent. Thank you, Ashley Brianna Eve, for reminding us of Blake Lively's own words on your Instagram. She's one of the other creators who's been subpoenaed. And by Blake Lively trying to speak for women who have been silenced, so now she's trying to silence us. She's the biggest hypocrite I have ever encountered in my entire life. Also, Radar Online did a story. Thank you so much, Radar Online, for doing that. They're also pointing out the content creators who have been subpoenaed. It says Blake Lively takes drastic step of subpoenaing digital influencer in Justin Baldoni's case in a move labeled pure harassment and attempt to silence them. Yes, I'm also in that article with some of my colleagues. I'm calling them now because I feel like we are a much tighter community now than ever before because of this. And this isn't, as I said, this isn't just about Justin Baldoni anymore. This is about our freedom of speech, everyone's freedom of speech. Can you imagine if the judge allows this to happen and the consequences for all of us? You guys too. She can come after you because you put a comment somewhere. I mean, maybe that's what she's going to do next. Go after everyone who comments on this. I don't know. Anyways, it was interesting because I was reading all the comments on the Instagram post that Radar Online did about this article that they posted. And there's just like no one anymore supporting Blake Lively. This is like her, like I said yesterday, this is her dumbest move yet. This is going to be the nail in her coffin because no one with the right mind will agree that this is okay. So here's a tiny clip of a comment that a typical pro Blake Lively supporter would say. And she said this in the documentary that I spoke about in the beginning of this episode. Yeah.
He's a powerful man with his own production company and a big shot lawyer. He's not a victim.
Yeah, Justin Baldoni is no victim because he has a production company. So that makes him powerful. But Blake Lively, she can be a victim, even though she's married to a billionaire and an extremely powerful man who's been running this whole thing for her. She can be a victim. So those rules don't apply to her. It's just because Justin Baldoni is powerful because he's a director And because he has his own production company. Yeah, I mean, like I've said so many times, that when you speak to these Blake Lively supporters, they never have a good argument. They're never sat down for any discussions. And I know a lot of my colleagues here on YouTube have tried to reach out to them to get them to come on their channel to actually present their point of view and why they believe her, and no one has been able to do that. So if you are a Blake Lively supporter, I would love to have you here on my channel and we can have a very respectful conversation about it, because I'm so curious how people at this point can support what she's doing. Yeah, so just reach out to me, flossomtalk@gmail.com, and we'll set something up. Anyways, thanks again for watching, you guys. I really appreciate all your support. Please keep sending me tips. You're amazing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, of course, please do, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Blossom Talk. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.